There he is.
Hey, how we doing tonight, Jamie?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's been a busy day. We've been calving the beat heck. I got my
Yeah.
4440 put back together. Got the old Ford put together. It's been a good day, but a busy day.
Yeah, good deal. Good to hear. Good to
So,
hear. Snow's melting down there. How's the snow,
oh,
man? It took a whooping today. It was
oh
pretty sweet.
man, yesterday was 84 degrees down here. 84 degrees
Oh,
here yesterday. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the snow, honestly, snow's about gone except in the tree rows and
Mhm.
things. But yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
good evening, everybody. Catch up here. Braden, good to see you tonight. Again, one of our Lemon High School
Yep.
fans there. I think he's the
Awesome.
biggest fan in Lemon High School,
Good.
other than my son. Eric, good to see you here tonight. Of course, we got Dan Brown's with us tonight. Dan, great to see you. Hope
Yes,
you enjoyed
sir.
the shirt. I think that looked sharp myself. I'm going to have to make one just like it. Brian, hey, fellow MV.
Yeah, baby. What's up, MV?
And of course, we've got Kevin Gills. Says it's still light out on Eastern time.
Yeah,
Well, it's
it is
still light
nice,
here
Kevin.
too.
Yeah.
And then who brought the Bud Light tonight?
Oh, hang on, Kenny. I got something
Oh,
for you right off the bat here. Once Clay gets done with this in the Second Amendment,
yep. Let's get started. Get right into it. We're gonna try to keep this hour 15 tonight because I definitely got to get out of here tonight. But let's give her a whirl. Go. Why don't you give it to us tonight?
right on. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah, absolutely. The second protects them all. Of course, we always do a little show and tell here. I don't know what you brought tonight, maybe, but I brought my Ruger Red Hawk. Of course, it's got
Nice.
that emulates the G. I think they were the GP 100 grips. They only put them on these Red Hawk stock like this gun. I think it was 2 years. When I first become a rep, I probably wasn't a rep. Maybe 2 years. I was in Mitchell, and one of the chairman's like, "Hey," he says, "Do you like to buy guns?" I said, "It depends." I got this guy was going
That's
through a
nice.
divorce. He used it when he was a prison guard at the prison, or I think it was the I don't know, it was a minimum security one, and
Mhm.
he needed to move some merchandise, and he sold this to me really reasonable. So yeah, I had to
Yeah.
have that. It's a 44 mag. It's super Red Hawk stainless. Of course, you can put the scope on it if you want. Yeah, I love
Oh,
this
I
gun.
like that. How long's that barrel on there?
This is I think that was a 7.5 is what it was called.
Sweet.
But maybe
Yeah, I
that's
want
one
to shoot
we'll have to
that.
do a little maybe a gun test. I have
Oh,
several 44
absolutely. Every
mags.
gun you got, man. Yeah, it's safe. I'm gonna bore everybody. Just standard AR, man. Had it out this weekend at out the farm shooting it. Unfortunately, the microphones weren't charged up all the way that my daughter was using. So, I got about a third of the way through my video shooting there and it got cut off. Well, we got one with my dad and I found a dead coyote laying there. And so if you want to go look at some shorts or some reels of us on on Facebook and YouTube, it's it was a little interesting, but I got the shooting was fun. Weather was freaking beautiful. I got my mule out and got to drive that fired right up. I hadn't drove that in a while. It was awesome. So
Yeah.
I was over at if you've been on our Facebook page or YouTube, I was over at Man Down Sporting Goods the other day, did a video of Brandon's inventory in there. Go check it out. It's a real quick one.
That was
But I
great,
mean,
by the way. I
yeah,
thought
the
that was
man
great.
has Man Down Sporting Goods is chock full of good stuff, man. Ammo, bullets, guns, suppressors, scopes, you name it. Brandon's got over there gun cases, tannerite, all kinds of stuff. Go check it out. He's filled up. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're looking for something. But yeah, so when I was leaving, he knows I'm a beer drinker, so
And I gotta give a shameless plug. He's a sponsor. 701-751-1026, guys. And he's got a website out there too, mandansportinggoods.com. So go check it out. He's a great guy.
Right on. So he asked me if I like pickles. I said, yeah. He gave me some two different kinds of this pickled beer. So I told him I'd give him a quick review, and I cracked one. It's called Best Made Spicy Pickled Beer from brewed and canned by Martin House Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas. And I don't think you're ever going to see any gender confused people on this. So I'm gonna.
There you go.
Man, it smells like pickles. I'll tell you that.
Crack it open, have a dill pickle. How is it?
Oh, man, it tastes like pickle juice. It doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like pickle juice. I like pickle juice, by the way, but I don't think I'm in danger of cramping up just yet. So I'll drink it, and then when I'm done with this, and I'll let you know what another one tastes like. If this, give her another.
Yeah. Hey, Paula, I think you got Paula her t-shirt, right? Guys, if you've got gear, go ahead and send those pictures to us. We'll definitely get them up here. We've been doing as we get them in.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
she says there's new listeners, Dave, Helen, and Don from our church. So hey, welcome to Dave and Don.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Awesome.
And Lynette, she goes, poor guy looked like he starved to death. No farm cats out there, I guess.
I'll tell you what, if you saw that video real quick before we get going, I'll tell you what I think happened. I got a lot of mouse poison around my camper out there, and I think this coyote might have either found himself a block and chomped on, or he got in and ate one of the mice that did. So there was no bullet holes in him, and I don't think he looked like a healthy coyote otherwise. So.
Well, and I'm also going to quickly, before we go and do a commercial, guys, we're going to just do a quick, hey, Lara Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. Go ahead and give them a call at 701-258-6308, and they'll get you set up. Hey, after yesterday, you're going to need that AC running, so make sure you got out there and do that. Then you got the blind guy in North Dakota, custom windows and blinds. You don't want to miss out on that. That sun was hot, so you might want to check them out.
Get those windows covered. That's a good reminder. Mother Nature reminded you need to get a hold of the blind guy and get those windows covered up.
And absolutely. For our podcast listeners, 701-222-3932. Again, 701-222-3932. All right, we got the bills paid. At least for the first part.
Yep.
Guess what we had again?
Yeah.
We had another shooting, this time in Kentucky.
Mass murder.
Yeah. It classified as a mass murder. So we were on, let's see, was it Jay's show? Yeah. It was Jay's show Monday when this was breaking.
Yep.
And I remember you and I both were like, hey, I bet it's some Democrat. I bet they're, got a mental problem and they probably bought their guns legally. Well, guess what? Did you call it or what?
Yeah. And actually, when I listened to the show with Jay at the end, I actually said, I'll bet you he bought it a couple days before too. And guess what? He bought it last week.
He did. And so that brings me to a point when there are several in all these shootings going on. And then, of course, you got Washington, some of these other states passing insanely stupid laws. Yep. So a lot of them are calling again for the waiting period. I've seen 5 days. I've seen 7 days. I've seen 10 days. So with that premise, if those laws were passed, they wouldn't have worked. This guy in Kentucky, 6 days, guys. He bought his gun 6 days prior to when he shot everybody. Mm-hmm. So if they'd have had the 5-day waiting period like some wanted.
Well, it's got to be 7, Clay.
Oh, it's got to be 7. Okay. Dang it. What about them guys that waited 30 days? Oh, that's right. The Tennessee shooter bought 7 guns over a period of almost 2 months. So I guess it probably better be 2 months now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're making good points here. I like this.
I mean, this is just the point of why a waiting period does not work, period.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter what the day is. These guys all left manifestos, right? They planned it out.
Which we still haven't seen from Tennessee.
Which we still haven't seen. And then they're going to keep doing this. It's just that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep doing this. Waiting periods won't stop it. Another thing that happened in both these shootings, what do they have in common? The shooters all bought their guns
legally with a background check, which Joe Biden and that's one of the left's wet dreams is universal background check. Yep. Find me one of these mass shooters, these mass murdering scumbags who didn't do a background check. Find it for me.
Yeah, I mean, every single one of them went through it. And, I've seen that the governor of Tennessee.
I'm laughing at Eric Newman's comment. I'm sorry.
3 days of summer.
He's tweaking people there. He's like Travis with that comment.
I like the warm weather, but I could have done without the 80s, but I'll take what I can get here. Today was beautiful, about 60 degrees. But
I just got real quick, I got to razz somebody. I just got a text message from my buddy Eric. You know what that means, Eric? It means you're not watching the live stream, me boy. Don't appreciate that.
Tell them to get on there. We're missing a few tonight. We're missing. I guess it's too nice of weather, but
they hit us up on the podcast. So
they can hit the podcast. That's right.
Yeah.
So here, Kenny's got a comment here. He says the other thing in common, no one else is packing heat, and we're going to get to that.
Well, Kenny, let's do that right now, shall we, Clay? So, Old National Bank in Louisville, right?
Yep. Guess what it was?
All Easterners say Louisville, but there's no V in there. It's Louis. If you want to call it Louisville, is what it looks like. No, Louisville. I call it Louisville.
Yeah.
But okay, so the bank bans customers from carrying permitted even, go for permitted concealed handguns.
Mm-hmm.
But the bank's employees handbook makes it clear that carrying a permitted concealed handgun in the bank is a fireable offense. I'll guarantee you this Sturgeon or Northern Pike or whatever this weirdo's last name was. He knew this, right?
He knew this,
Right?
absolutely.
And guess what, Clay? Why is that newsworthy? Why isn't that newsworthy?
Oh, because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah, and why isn't it newsworthy that the Covington school in Tennessee didn't have that? They banned guns there too. And guess
They
what?
did.
She knew, in fact, in her manifesto, that she picked that school because of that and passed up other targets because they were more heavily defended.
Exactly. I mean, she even passed up them all because it had what? Security there.
Oh,
I mean, it just never fails, guys. These things are happening at the places they're happening at because they're soft targets with no way to defend. Nobody has a right to defense in these places.
it doesn't matter if you got an AR-15, you can blast through anything, Clay.
You got 9mm lung blowers in your handgun,
Yeah.
and you got that body ripping in half AR. You're just a lethal
Yeah, but
weapon.
that's what they say. But although we have numerous and recent cases of people stopping other people with ARs with a handgun, so that blows their narrative out of the water
all
too.
the time.
Most people don't pay attention to that, but Clay and
They
I
don't.
do. So we're gun nerds. That's what we do, man.
That's what we do. We love doing it. We had fun doing it on 1270. I don't know if they're doing it anymore over there, but we this is how we got here.
So let's. I want to go a little bit more into this Connor Sturgeon, Clay, because if he was wearing a red cap like I am from 2A701 here, they would be like, oh, definitely a Trump supporter. If it was a Trump supporter, if it was a right winger. The media would be all over this, but guess what? The last
By the way,
post.
I got to interrupt you though.
Yep, go for it.
Leon's got some great caps, and we want to thank
Absolutely.
Leon all the time. I think we're going to have some of these more coming. I ordered a dozen of them as well, so we'll have those coming shortly. And then we've got other caps. We got like 24 other caps.
We
coming,
do got the leather patches.
and we're gonna have 60 of those
buddy
leather
will.
patches, but we're gonna use some of them on caps and other things. But we got gear coming, guys.
Yep.
It'll probably be a couple of weeks yet, but just
Yeah,
sit
and
tight. We'll have them done.
About out of koozies, but our listener Waylon, his wife, has a side business there. She does. I got a hold of her, and koozies are on order. I got some more orange ones coming, and red, and I got some of the tall, the skinnies. I got the red ones there too. So they should be about 3 weeks out, probably. So
we got more gear coming. We're still,
we got shirts. I got like Clay's wearing right there. I got shirts, and
we got a few of these left. Actually, we've sold a few, but we can get more. Right now, this is the only color we're offering. But you know what?
I see my hoodies in the background there, Clay. You need to get to the post office.
I do. It's still sitting here. The hats are still here.
Okay. All right, so let's
go ahead. Let's get back.
This Connor Sturgeon, his last tweet on Twitter. So here's what he said, and then Clay, tell me if I'm going to read into this wrong when I'm done reading it. The last post by 23-year-old Connor Sturgeon read, "They won't listen to words or protests. Let's see if they hear this." So the first thing I thought of, Clay, when I read that was they won't listen to words or protests. They're always screaming about gun control. They were protesting in the Tennessee State House. In fact, the insurrectionists went in there and were shoving police and everybody. That's what he's referring to right there, right, Clayton?
Yes, he is. That's exactly what he's referring to.
Yep.
So he was going to make a statement, and that statement was, "I'm going to go kill some people."
Yeah, and you know what he did? I'm going to do with an AR-15 because we want this banned, and he was a suicidal loser. And go on. I'm sorry.
Well, I haven't actually. I've been trying to find out what rifle he used. Now I've heard AR style.
I still haven't seen a picture of it,
but I have not heard them actually call it an AR-15.
They said a long assault rifle.
So I'm not quite sure what he was using, and I can't find one single deal.
Nope.
I've been searching since that day, and nothing. I mean, this happened Monday, so who knows? I'm hoping to find out exactly what the firearm was. Even in Tennessee, that wasn't an AR. That was a sub. It was a Kel-Tec sub 2000.
But he did. She did have an AR too. I mean, it was a short one. Yeah. Which I got to tell you, I watched Noir's thing. She fired like 100 40 rounds from that, and the rest were from, but a bunch of them were shot out of the window. I think, yeah. So anyway, so to further go a little more into this guy, guess what? Lefties, you're not going to like this.
This guy was
Louisville mass shooter identified. He, him. Pronoun. This is a pronoun person too, to go along with everything else, Clay.
Yeah.
But why don't you let her? And I know you know what I'm going to do. Thinking about next year. Why don't you say what good old Sturgeon was saying on Twitter about BLM and Trump and whatnot?
Well, he hated Trump, and he basically, let's see, he said it's now deleted account, but posts were in support of Black Lives Matter protests of 2020, so Black Lives Matter riots, as well as criticism of police violence and then President Donald Trump. One of the things he had a little cartoon on there, showed this big cartoony buff guy. He goes, gee, you've been working out. Nope, I only did one push-up. Every time Trump said whatever he said.
Something racist.
So that's how he got that.
And then the little guy next to him goes, holy shit, like Trump's just spewing racist shit. I'm still waiting for what was racist, man. These people are unbelievable.
I was going to put that picture up. I was going to grab it. I was like, you know what? I'm not giving this guy any fanfare.
We probably get kicked off for it.
Probably. But, and Kevin brings up, I've had this up here. Trans people are insane that they shoot shit up. Well, exactly. Yeah. These people, it is a mental disorder. And I cannot believe, and Rush Limbaugh, actually, he called this about 10 years ago and said, this is where this would lead with the gays and lesbians. And he goes, this is going to lead into exactly what we're seeing today with transgender and trannies and people who are confused. He said, and he mentioned NAMBLA at that same time, which if you don't know what that
North American Man Boy Love,
it's another sick organization.
Yeah.
They are trying to normalize it. He goes, they're trying to normalize all of this. And that's what we're seeing today. Like I said, he called that. It was over 10 years ago. And that's what we're seeing. It's a mental illness that's being promoted and being normalized. And look what it's doing to people.
Just in case somebody
not happy.
For the people who don't pay attention, Clay, what you're saying here is like, Clay's saying a bunch of these people are pronoun lovers or they were transgender. Guess what, Clay? The shooter in Uvalde, what were their pictures of him doing? Cross-dressing, correct?
Cross-dressing, yes.
Yep. You damn right. And we just had the one in Tennessee, right?
Yep.
Right, that one. And the shooter back in Colorado, the movie theater shooter, when everyone in there, I am the shooter. He is a purple, weird hair.
He sure looked like the same thing.
I guarantee you that.
But they didn't say it then.
If he was alive right now, he would be going by pronoun.
His name was.
I'm not saying all these shooters are, but most of them. I am saying this: the damn vast majority of them are Democrats, and more of them are starting to be these people like this. I know I'm forgetting one right now, and if it comes back to me, I'll bring
this
it
guy
up
right now. This guy was a leftist. If you look at his social media accounts, it was all BLM stuff. Police are just horrible people that do nothing but beat up on, gays and blacks and name your group.
He was like one of these turds that Rittenhouse had to defend himself against in Wisconsin. Is what he was.
He was.
And he went to University of Alabama, and he basically was saying, without saying it, a bunch of rednecks down there, and he was trying to lead this big boo when Trump came down there. Unfortunately for him, University of Alabama loved President Trump when he was there. So,
here I did print it out. So there's the cartoon that this idiot had.
Yeah.
And that's the one they're talking about. Wow, how'd you get like that? Well, every day Trump says something racist, I do one push-up.
Yeah, and you got Trump says, he must be doing 100 push-ups a day.
Yeah, one. Yeah.
All right. Well, Clay, I tell you what, it's 7:21 already, and we're just getting started. We better run our first ad here.
Go for it. Let's have our first timeout and do an obscene profit timeout. Yeah.
We're gonna come back with some more stuff on Kentucky and Tennessee. Hang on. And the 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service. Yes, sir. I got reading a comment on there too. Kenny, Jamie saw that I was safe on Easter, as is my wife. My church doesn't allow guns, but I have mine, as does the wife. He did. I did, Kenny. Kenny looks good in the suit too, by the way. He looks damn good in the suit. I like that. If he didn't have the wash business, he could pass for a banker, I think.
You know what? I really don't care what they say. I carry everywhere pretty much, except in the federal buildings, because I don't want a felony. But I carry in the churches. I carry in businesses that have a sign. You know, unless they come up and ask me, then I'll leave. But
right,
and that's their right as a private business. But I ignore their signs, just like they ignore my right to keep and bear arms. I think my constitutional right outweighs their idea of safety. So,
well, your constitutional right is not affected by their feelings, Clayton.
That's right.
So we got the.
I was reading more on this Sturge guy.
Uh-huh.
He went by C. Sturge on his deal.
And I mean went by, not is.
Yeah. He says, finally an excuse to stay in without being a bad person. And what he was talking about is this: health officials advise people to work at home, postpone gatherings, the slow spread of China virus. Well, he wrote this whole thing then about being an introvert, how it's great. And then he was a big vaxxer too. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
big time on the vaccine. If you got the vaccine, I don't care. I think you probably were a little misled. I'm never getting that jab. We're seeing way too many things going on with it. What was that, Jamie?
I said they were a lot misled, but I'm not holding that against them.
No, I'm not. And then he's got on here, Rick Santorum is on CNN at that time saying Chris Wallace put Trump in a box.
Yeah, that's right.
With the question about condemning president doesn't like to say something bad about people who support him. And another post this guy had, see the entire internet plan on the raid on 5th Area 51. Then he talks about how Trump retreats to Alabama so he can finally be cheered on at a sporting event. I'm sorry. Wherever Trump went, drew tens of thousands of people. He was always cheered on. He didn't have to do any gimmicks as far as that went. People go to his rallies and continue to. But see, that the people like this Sturge, they hated Trump. They hate the right. They hate the Constitution. And they hate your freedoms.
I got a question, Clay.
Yeah.
If he hated right-wingers, right, and he hated people in Alabama because he knows they're going to cheer on Trump, why in the hell would you go to college there? You freaking leftist idiot.
That's a good question.
I don't give a shit what his IQ is. He had all these fancy degrees. You're a freaking idiot. Go to freaking Boston College or something then with the rest of your leftist freaking hive, you freak.
And now he's a dead.
Go down there and bitch about it. God, yeah, Trump's down here and they love him. Yeah, you chose to go there, you shit stain. Jesus.
And another thing these guys do, they always take people with, whether it's this guy, I mean, every one of them, they have this issue. They hate the world. They feel that nobody loves them. Mm-hmm. And they always take people with them. They don't just go out and kill themselves. No. They got to make this big statement and take people with them, which makes it even worse. They're mentally ill. And how do we stop that? I don't know. I quit condoning this ideology that you can be if you're a boy. If you're born a boy, you can be a girl someday. No, you can't. It is science. They always say, follow the science. It's scientifically impossible for a woman to become a man and a man to become a woman. They can cut parts off and add parts, but it doesn't make you one.
You're familiar with the 4473. I know that, Clay. Right?
Yeah.
So I got a few things I'd like maybe to tell ATF they should put on there for questions. Because, since they altered it a little bit there with these other ones, right? So I think we should have a few more questions on there, like this one. Are you an Antifa supporter? Are you a BLM supporter? Are you or have you ever been considered being trans? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you just immediately disqualified yourself from owning a gun. There you go. Perfect. You guys just solved a bunch of shit for yourself about gun ownership.
Well, and what's another thing? I got in trouble for saying this just in town yesterday. This subject came up. I said, well, we can solve all this. I said, for starters, let's just ban Democrats from having guns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are you talking about?
They shouldn't mind, right? They hate guns anyway.
That's what I said. I said they want to ban them anyway.
Unless they want to use them for mass shootings.
let's start by banning guns for Democrats if they identify as a Democrat.
Finally, it come together on something.
Yeah, we can come together on that, and then they can't get them, right? It should end
Right.
it because it's not us doing this.
Right. And hey, I guarantee, like I said, you're going to find a couple
Man,
right
it's
wingers
words.
who
You
have done
can't
it.
fix stupid.
No, you can't. Just a little update. I'm almost done with this spicy pickle. It is spicy. Still tastes like pickle juice.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the Kentucky.
There you
This
go.
one ain't going to take long.
Hey, Lynette says something. No, she goes, the only way to stop is a good guy with a gun. That's the only way to stop a good guy.
Who stopped Sturgeon? Who stopped him?
The good guys with guns.
There you go. Who stopped?
By the way, did you watch that footage? Kudos to them officers.
Yeah. Again,
kudos to the officers in Tennessee. They did their jobs. They did it well. They weren't like them cowards that were in Uvalde.
Yep.
And that's what they were. They were cowards.
Yeah. Hey, these guys didn't sit outside and complain they had to go in and face an AR-15.
No, they went in there and they took out the threat.
3.5 minutes.
Well. Yep.
But the only depressing thing about that is, Clay, if somebody had been in there with a gun, they could have ended it.
Can you imagine?
And I'm not saying they did it themselves, but you could have at least minimized it. I'm sorry, but
you could have.
Yeah, thanks to the police that are getting that done out. It's freaking awesome.
Yes,
one guy got shot, unfortunately, in the head.
I hope he's okay. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything, but you take one to the head, that's always bad.
Yeah, close range. I don't care if it's a lung blower or 22 or anything.
It's bad.
Yeah,
it's always going to be bad.
So yeah, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg, he gave a speech about it, and there's one more topic we need to talk about today, and that is guns. Right. That is guns. And then he went on, he talked about a few things. Of course, like background checks, ban assault rifles, red flag laws. And under current Kentucky law, he was belly aching about this. The assault rifle that was used to murder 5 of our neighbors and shoot at rescuing police officers will one day be auctioned off, said Mayor Greenberg. Think about that. The murder will be back on the streets one day under Kentucky's current. Why do they always say they're back on the streets?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever seen anybody walking on the street with an AR-15, Clay?
Other than me, no.
Yeah. I mean, did they make it sound like people are walking down around downtown freaking Louisville here? Carrying ARs everywhere.
Every once in a while, you hear one coming out of Texas just to prove a point because they can.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it in Rapid City just to prove that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bunch of officers show up, and of course they found out who I was at that time. And then I said, well, why don't you tell the person that reported it that this is legal?
Yeah.
And leave me. All I had it was slung. I had my single point on. I just had it slung on my back.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to cause a stir? Walk down Main Street in Rapid City.
South Dakota. Well, yeah.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm
So
sorry.
no. Unfortunately for the mayor and the rest of the leftists, Kentucky, Clay, is a Second Amendment sanctuary state, which means Kentucky law enforcement officers cannot enforce any federal ban or regulation on firearms, which was enacted in January 2021. And Kentucky does not have a red flag law, which this guy didn't have a history until moments before.
Yeah.
He tweeted about he was going down, he was going to do the shooting, and it was too late.
It wouldn't have done any good anyway.
Nope. So so we got that. Let's head over to Tennessee here.
Let's pull this up here for you. Can you see it there? Oh, maybe it ain't coming in very good, is it? Anyway, that was the Louisville mayor talking about how they can't destroy the guns. It's going to be auctioned off. Yeah. So anyway, we are an iHeart podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I don't know.
Let's go to Tennessee here, Clay, because it's going to kind of tie in with what this mayor was saying. And
I'll tell you what, before we do that, let's take our triple ad.
All right,
at the bottom of the hour, and let's thank some sponsors here.
You bet. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by the Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, the Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
And again, thanks to Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. Contact 701-258-6308. And of course, Doug and the guys down there, they can get your AC running. They can get you a checkup. They can do everything you need here with spring, summer. That winter's been hard on things, guys. So
big time.
And Mandan Sporting Goods, you just heard the commercial there, and then Jamie did a great walkthrough.
Thanks.
Down at Mandan Sporting Goods, just right down there on Main Street through Mandan.
Yep.
And of course, the Blind Guy in North Dakota, if you need some great blinds, summer and spring are here. That sun's getting hot. It'd be a great time to get that done. So thanks to all our great sponsors there. Without them, we can't keep this baby rolling. So
right on, Clay. Tell them you're going to go in there. Tell them you appreciate it.
Yep, tell them you appreciate it. Keith O'Donnell made a comment here about the very first thing out of Biden's mouth was gun violence, and it's true. So I want to share this quick. I know can you see this here? So first of all, this is the officer that was shot in the head. He remains in critical condition. Our prayers are with him. Is Officer Nicholas Wilt. He was brand new. In fact, he just got done taking his training and just came onto the force. So we really hope that this guy's going to be okay. But I have a feeling he's got a long road ahead of him. But you go down here. Can you see this here? Okay, well, I'll read it for you guys. Biden right away. How many more Americans must die before Republicans in Congress will act to protect our communities? It's long past time that we require safe storage of firearms, require background checks for all gun sales, eliminate gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. Those are three things that we're going to address here. And then a strong majority of Americans want lawmakers to act on common sense gun safety reform. Instead, from Florida to North Carolina to the U.S. House of Representatives, we've watched Republican officials double down on dangerous bills to make our schools, places of worship, and communities less safe. Oh, so it's the Republicans' fault, huh?
Well, all right. I'll let you go, Clay. One thing I'm going to slide in right before that.
Go ahead.
Joe, you're not doing jack shit to protect schools. So before you start pointing fingers, go look in the mirror, you freaking crypt keeper. Go ahead.
There you go. Well, first of all, with Biden talking about making our schools, churches, and everywhere else unsafe, no, that's you guys. You're the people that made gun-free zones, kill boxes, soft targets that every single one of these mentally ill, disturbed people do. As far as keeping your gun in what, you want us to lock up all our guns in our home?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, they do. As far as the background checks, what he's talking about is universal background. It don't work, Joe. Every one of these people bought them doing a 4473. They bought them from a licensed firearms dealer. And as Brandon, our sponsor, Mandan Sporting Goods, knows, and any other FFL dealer, you have to do a 4473. If you don't know what that is by now, that is the background check. Now, if you have a North Dakota concealed weapons permit, and I don't remember if it's class 1 or 2, that does actually serve as your background check. But nonetheless, you still have went through a background check. So we have all these things they're asking for. They don't work.
Right. That was me, Clay. I'm going on.
No, that's okay.
We got a sniper in the comments. I'm going on to handle it here.
Edith Mills, she's saying hello to a few people. Thanks.
That's what I'm telling you.
Mandan Sporting, because he did reply here. So, like he said, both work. And Matt Simon, good. I'm glad to have you on tonight because it's a Class 1 only, and I couldn't remember off the top of my head. So, if you have a Class 1 North Dakota, that is your background check, or if you don't have one, you do the 4473. We have all these things.
Right.
Matthew Simon points out the fact that they have all these bills drafted and ready to fly should tell you all you need to know about the motives of would-be tyrants. Bingo, you nailed it as always, Matt. And that is what they have these babies in the can. They're ready to rock and roll with them. And I don't know if you noticed that there was this shooting, but over Easter there was 2 more shootings. Did you know that?
Yep.
One was in D.C. and that was they think it was a gang-related deal. You didn't hear nothing about that because it didn't fit the narrative. And there was another one in Florida, but that one ended a little differently. So anyway, I'll let you go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, so we'll go on here with some of the things Governor Bill Lee in Tennessee was talking about. He said he's going to take action by signing an executive order to strengthen background checks for firearm purchases and called on state lawmakers to pass an order of protection, which another name for red flag laws. Okay.
Red flag law.
Lee said that efforts to prevent gun violence are necessary after last month's shooting at private Christian. So you weren't trying to prevent it before then?
Yeah, no kidding.
And what you're putting forth here, Governor, is it's not going to work.
No.
Clay was just talking about it. The strength and background checks. What more are you going to do? Are you going to get a microscope and stick it up the rear ends and have a look around? What good's that? I mean, how much more do you need to know?
I went back and I watched that video at his press conference, and I remember I told you I wasn't sure where he was going with that. I can see clearly where he's going with that. He didn't necessarily put it in his executive order. His executive order was more about mainly about getting any kind of mental illnesses or things like that into the system, so that it comes up in a NICS background check, or they, like Tennessee, they have one of their own. But I can tell you right now, without saying red flag laws, Governor Bill Lee, to my disappointment, after he'd done so many other things that were good, he's basically calling for a red flag law. But, it's got to make sure it's constitutional and due process. You can't have what they consider a red flag law and still have due process. It's impossible, because it violates due process, because it's presumptuous that you're already guilt. You already have guilt.
Well, with the money he's going to spend on trying to strengthen background checks and red flag laws, he could add it on to what he wants to do to get one security guard in each school. That's not enough. Once you do some real stuff there, and
I mean, his first idea after this all happened in Tennessee was what he wants to harden the schools, which is a good idea. I didn't think he went far enough.
No,
but that was a great idea. And now all of a sudden, I suppose he's catching pressure from somewhere.
Yeah,
by the way,
that's when remember, you don't buckle, man. It's weak.
It's weak. It shows weakness. It's kind of like our governor. He's a weak little foo-foo boy, Governor Burgum, and we know what he really is. Well, we got the same guy in Tennessee. It's kind of looking like.
Yes. He goes on further here. He says, Lee said individuals who have shown they are real, quote, real threats to themselves and others should not possess a firearm. I agree with that, but the way how you're going to get at that is not working. And he's asking a General Assembly to bring forward an order of protection. I believe this will protect victims, that it will hold dangerous people accountable and away from firearms. No, it won't.
No,
it will not. It has in other states, and it will not in yours. And he's got, I don't understand. I don't know what this is. Lee will also sign an executive order that creates a 72-hour clock for reporting new criminal activity. And by what in the hell is that supposed to stop?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going to stop, but essentially if somebody has committed. So, committing a criminal activity, but are they guilty of it? That's what I'm, how does he differentiate? I can tell you right now, I know of several instances, I've had it happen to myself even, where people have reported an assault that I supposedly did or something like that, which it didn't. And I was not guilty of it. So does that get put into the system because it was reported with absolutely no proof whatsoever? And it was just an empty accusation?
Yeah. It will. Oh, I bet you any money, Clay.
So that's the problem with this. There's no due
So he's got
process to
something
this.
here that, man, here comes go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to say Mandan Sporting Goods puts out there, the HIPAA laws protect all the mentally disabled people and disabled people. And that's another issue. So I don't know how you get around that because Brandon's absolutely right. I'm not sure how you get around that.
Marty's comment.
Oh, what's Marty got up there? Welcome, Marty. Our governor could look through a keyhole with both eyes open. you guys figured that one out, okay, on your own.
Yeah. Well, the governor here, and this Bill Lee, Republican, this is one of these deals that immediately gets up a warning sign for me, Clay, and you'll know exactly what it is when I read it. This executive order, along with the new stronger order protection law, will provide that next step in making sure that our communities are a safer place to live. Next step, Clay, not an end to the means, the next step. So that means you're going to do this, and when it doesn't work, which it won't, you're going to try and frickin' infringe on the Second Amendment even more and act like it's some common sense crap that's going to work.
Yep, absolutely. Well, here, I got the video loaded. You want to hear his red flag statement?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is needed as we move forward. First, I'm asking the General Assembly to bring forth a new order of protection law. Our current law is proven and effective in many circumstances, especially with regard to domestic violence. But this new, stronger order of protection law will provide the broader population cover, safety from those who are in danger to themselves or to the population. Protective orders are led by law enforcement. They have a high standard burden of proof. There is due process, requires clear and convincing evidence that a person that has shown that they are a real threat to themselves or to others, that person, that individual should not have access to firearms. Our judicial system is prepared. It has years of experience in dealing with orders of protection. The process is there. They'll be well equipped for this new order. I believe that this will protect victims, that it'll hold dangerous people accountable and away from firearms, and that it'll preserve constitutional rights at the same time.
Sure
it will. Sure it will, right?
Sure it will. Just, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds just like the sentence here at the bottom of this article. President Joe Biden announced $231 million in federal funding in February for states to enact red flag laws and other crisis intervention programs. Yeah, just like the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, Joe, that was going to do a lot, and that's not. Guess what? You're still asking for more, dude. You're asking for everything yet.
I thought that was the most incremental,
comprehensive
since
20 years, Clay. 20 plus years.
And it was supposed to just stop everything.
It's only getting worse.
It's gotten worse since it happened.
And guess what, Joe? It's people who like you that are making it worse.
And I don't know how far I go down this rabbit hole, but it seems like every time there's something else going on, like big things going on in the world right now, all of a sudden there's some distractions that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And they always seem to be shootings. I don't know if there's shootings actually happening because of that. I wouldn't go that far.
You can rile up both sides with it real easy to forget about shit.
I think it's the media starts reporting them more. And I think that's what's happening. Every time they need something convenient, because let's face it, all the places these take place in, what party's running these towns? The Democrats. Yeah, here, listen.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. If you're on the podcast, I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, we have Travis is back.
Yeah. So Doug's in there too now. So
by the way, Travis, hey, we got a bone to pick with you about Washington State.
Yeah. We got we'll get to it. So stick around. Don't go to bed early tonight, sleepy Smurf.
I'm gonna end on this, and I'll let you go on as far as on this subject. The common thread in all of these that have been going on is we have generally mentally ill people in one capacity or another. They passed background checks and bought their firearms legally. They did the background check that they want. They ignored the laws that were in effect, which is a gun-free zone, no guns in schools, no guns wherever, ignored it all. And they went in and they took them out, and there was notice of it. People around them knew. And you can't stop that either. If evil people do evil things, that is the conclusion. Is if we didn't have the immorality that we see today, I can guarantee you things like this wouldn't happen, because they didn't happen when I was growing up, and we had guns in our school. I had a gun in my freaking locker that I was refinishing. It was a 22 long rifle of my grandpa's that I took to shop class. I had a shotgun in the back of my pickup, in the window, on my rack. I mean, this is not a gun problem. This is a society problem. And
yeah, it's
I
an
blame
assault
it
weapons problem, Clay.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to move on to some other things.
As I said earlier this week when we were talking about it, when I started high school, you could buy a full automatic assault rifle. I realized it went full auto, and guess what? We didn't have school shootings, and we have them all the time now, and you can't even buy a full auto unless you got a class 3.
No.
So, and they're few and far between. So you can KMA if you think it's a gun, because it's not. You ban ARs are doing with something else. So we're going to go one more quick thing here about Tennessee, Clay.
Yeah,
because this has really been eating on me. Yeah, I agree with you, Trav. You're still living there, man. So we had a bunch of insurrectionists that stormed the Tennessee state capitol, Clay, and guess who they were blaming for the shootings at that Catholic school there? They were blaming the NRA and House Speaker, because the Tennessee state House and Senator controlled by Republicans, House Speaker Cameron Sexton, for the death of all 6 victims who were killed by this leftist transgender. So NRA and Cameron Sexton never pulled the trigger, right? But they're blaming them, right? Okay.
Well, they get blamed, yeah.
Yeah, so these the demonstrators stormed inside the Tennessee Capitol there. And I mean, if you've seen any video of this, I'm telling you,
that was an insurrection.
Shoving, pushing. The Tennessee, they screwed up anyways, and they kicked these 3 turd stains out who started, who were actually in the Tennessee House. They kicked out 2, I think it was 2 black guys and 1 white chick. And then, well, they didn't kick the white chick out, and I seen that right away. And I'm like, really? Well, she sweet talked him into, hey, I wasn't as bad as what these guys were doing. And she went out and bought, the next day, hey, they're racist. I mean, I could see that coming a mile away. Maybe I need to be in their state legislature.
And guess what they did with them now? They let them back in.
Yeah, they let them all back in. They buckled. I'd have told all 3 of them to piss off and don't ever come back here. You guys freaking came in here. You bitched about the insurrection and so-called insurrection January 6th. You just did the same thing, but it was righteous when you did it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So, yeah, here's what they were saying, Clay. Insurrectionists blame the NRA, chanting, hey, NRA, how many kids you killed today? NRA didn't kill any kids today. NRA hasn't ever killed a kid.
Probably saved a bunch.
Yeah, damn right they did.
With their Eddie Eagle program.
Yeah, for sure. And they also chanted, this is the dumbest thing ever. These guys can't even come up with a good chant. Sexton, you suck. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Wow, that's some good stuff right there.
Yeah.
And of course, the insurrectionists haven't put no such blame at the feet of the leftist transgender ideology. Right. None. In fact, they held 7 fingers up there. That's for 7 victims of the Tennessee's lack of gun laws. She passed a background check, though.
She did. And, Lynette brings up a good thing here. Trans people have, and they're not, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. They have the government in their back pocket now saying that they're being persecuted by straight folks.
Yeah.
You're right. They do have they definitely got the Biden administration in their back pocket. Being persecuted? No. But I will not.
We are for saying something. We risk getting kicked off when we talk anything. Yes. Talk real about them, Clay. We're talking real about them.
We'll probably have something covered on our deal on YouTube tonight.
So I'm going to say one more thing, and then we'll get off this. I want to read this one little paragraph here. So when all these people were in, all these insurrectionists, one loudmouth at the event complained about violence against those who identify as transgender, remarking, when we talk about violence prevention, it means gun violence prevention. Okay, wait, really? That's it, huh? Just gun violence? So I guess, any other kind of violence is fine. But it also means talking about violence against my trans sibling. She screamed before going on to yell, this is a buildup of fascism happening right here. And if we don't do shit, it's only going to continue. First of all, your trans siblings one who shot up the damn school, you freak, and they shot up a bunch of other ones I was talking about. You incompetent. Oh, God, these people have no common sense in reality at all.
None.
And then screaming about fascism. You're the fascists who are in there barking at people because you disagree with them. You know, you complain that we don't accept your ideology. You don't accept the ideology of reality, you people.
They've never evidently looked up the actual term fascism.
I wish they'd meet a real fascist like a Joe Stalin or Mussolini. If you could put them back in
or
time.
Hitler. Oh.
Yeah, I would love.
I wish they'd meet a real one because they won't like it much.
Yeah, and as we talked about last week, Trump, who they call a fascist, actually expanded people's rights. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
Trump actually expanded people's rights, and they call him a fascist. Joe Biden, I could sit here, and I'm not going to go on that road, but Joe Biden's a guy who's actually infringing and trying to further infringe on your civil rights.
Every single day.
Open your eyes. Get your rear end out of okay, whatever.
Yeah, no,
I'm getting mad, so we got to go on. Let's go on to brother Travis Royce State here.
Keith O'Donnell here. He said, "You think Kid Rock has a class 3?" I don't know, but it sure was a cool video. I'll put it that way. Through these here. Lynette, she says, "How about the swimmer gal that was beat by a bunch of trans activists?" Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, out in California, locked her in a room and pretty much held her hostage for 3 hours.
Of course, Travis is out there. Guns in the 701's racist. We're talking racism.
Absolutely, Travis. I'm sure of
trannies, and then he said I'm not going to repeat
the super
glides. Then he said he tore up his tranny. But anyway, thanks, Travis. We always love the entertainment. Brian Warner, he's like, "Well, I for one feel no straight guilt over any of these lunatics." Amen.
Right.
Neither do I. I won't accept it. I'm not going to normalize it. I'm not going to condone it. I can tell you right now, guys, I got a niece who she's got mental issues. She don't know what she is, supposedly. I can tell you that don't go well. And she steers clear of me because I won't accept it. Never going to, never will. I tell her exactly what she is. She is a female. It's that simple. And we've got one right in our family. And then I'd like to say, I don't know how she got that way, but she got involved with a lot of leftist freaking radical pieces of shit.
Do it.
And that's what happened. So anyway, all right.
Yep. So real quickly, I'm going to crack open this other beer from Brandon from Man Down Sporting. Best made.
Oh.
Best made here. What is this? Sour pickle beer. As I said, made in Texas by Texans, Fort Worth. Fort Worth is actually, I'm saying conservative, but they vote Republican for a big city. Let's see here.
All right. And before we go on to the next segment here, how is it? Good.
Tastes like pickle juice. It's not spicy. Yeah, I'm gonna drink it. I'll tell you that.
We're gonna go ahead and thank one of our main sponsors here, Lauer Auto Repair.
The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lauer you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
All right. Again, thank you, Lauer Auto Repair. And great job, Jamie. I think you got a voice for
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I gotta read. Let's see, which one was it? Oh yeah, he says Kevin Gills. He's got on here. Stop shoving your sickening lifestyle on us. Go do your thing and shut up. Absolutely. This wasn't an issue till they decided that they wanted to speak out. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. Believe this.
Yeah, but look how much the power. The people they're weak. They won't want to stand up to them. So
all righty. Well, we better get on to bashing Washington State. Especially being Travis is on here.
Yeah. So Clay and I were talking about this. We're going to talk about these Second Amendment prohibitions in Washington State. And I said, man, Travis needs to get on that computer to his representatives and rally the troops out there like he does here on the comment section. But
hey, Vance, good to have you from Georgia.
Right on. Like that. Hey, Vance. So yeah, on Saturday afternoon, Washington State Democrats rammed through an amended version of House Bill 1240, which bans the future sale, transfer, manufacture, or importation of the so-called assault weapons. And on top of that, they also passed 1143, which mandates proof of training for anyone buying a firearm, and it also includes a 10-day waiting period for all firearm transfers, which is an extension of a waiting period on the purchase of semi-automatic rifles that was part of Initiative 1639. Remember Billy Gates and them guys, whatever his name was, put millions and millions in Washington 2018. And at the time, opponents of that bill predicted the passage of the billionaire-backed initiative would be followed eventually by stricter gun control measures. And guess what, Clayton? Right on the money, because what they did right there didn't do diddly all shit.
Didn't do a dang thing.
No.
And not only that, not only does 1143 deny people their rights, and by the way, this passed the Senate. House Bill 1143 passed 28-18. So it had a lot of support there, evidently. But I look at this, and it actually keeps, and it requires their Department of Licensing to maintain a database. And that's already illegal. It doesn't matter if it's right now, because it is a Second Amendment issue.
Amendment?
Yeah, I think it is. But it basically makes them keep a registry of all gun owners and their personal data, despite the agency having previously suffered a data breach affecting 650,000 plus people just last year. So they have this database, which is gun registry. You can't have gun registry in this country, but a lot of states have done that. As a constitutionalist, do they have the right to do that? I don't think they do, because it infringes on the Second Amendment. When you go back to states' rights, well, yes, states' rights come after the 10th Amendment. Again, though, the Second Amendment's pretty clear. There's 27 words there that are very clear, very precise, and they are not open for interpretation. So I don't think that gun registry
Clay,
is constitutional,
remember
even at
one
a
of the
state
famous framers there, Tench Cox, said you can right to keep and bear arms as long as you register them with the government in George Washington.
Yeah, it must have been.
Oh, shit, that's right. There's no such thing.
Right. It doesn't happen.
So we got anti-gun senator out there, Patty Kuder. I'm sure a good friend of Travis, listener to the show. She declared, people are sick and tired over the seemingly endless instances of gun violence and are downright incensed at their leaders' inaction. And then here comes a famous Democrat quote now. Enough is enough. But enough was enough when you passed Initiative 1639, right? You guys are going to kick ass, and that was going to happen. It only got worse, especially it got worse since your boy Joe's been in there.
It's gotten 10 times, 100 times.
Yeah, so they had an online poll on KOMO News in Seattle, the ABC affiliate, and guess what the opposition was to this gun ban legislation, Clay? 78% opposed and 19% supported it, 3% were unsure. And, of course, here's the Democrats trying to put their it's not so bad spin on it. It does not even ban possession of an assault weapon, and it allows for ownership by law enforcement and military service members, the only people who should actually own these, an exception in cases of inheritance. Wow, gee, thanks.
Wow, thanks for
I can keep it until the crime doesn't go down, and then you want to go door kicking for them? Yeah, gotcha.
Hey, they interrupt you here.
Nope, go for it. That was it.
Well, that's just what Lynette has to say there. You see that?
Jamie, those beers would be good at 4 a.m. Yeah. Hey, I invited you and Axel last year a couple of times. Open invitation again this year. I had to drag you guys out there.
It had nothing to do with what you're talking about, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And by the way, I plan to take you up on that. We're going to do some pontooning on the river. I'm looking forward to coming up.
I think my wife's going to Wisconsin with her cousin for a week in the first week in August, so we're going to have a lot of open days there for
Troy. Welcome.
Howdy, Troy. How you doing, buddy?
Good to have you listening.
All right,
Donald puts on there. He says, enough is enough of gun laws. And I agree.
Yeah, exactly, Keith. It's been enough for a long time. So that enough is enough for their crap.
Absolutely.
Enough is enough of not giving our schools enough money to protect them from freaking psycho leftist freaks coming in there to kill everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Clayton. Should we? You know what, Clay? I don't think we're going to have time for this Newsweek article. We might have.
I don't think we are. So I think we'll save that. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it on Jay's.
Yeah. So
you
the
guys don't
article I
know-
was talking about here, I'll just give you guys a quick overture of it here. Newsweek had an article that the AR-15 has become an identity marker for the right, which, you know what, I'm going to probably agree with Newsweek on this one. But it's
not a bad
it's
thing.
it's a big 3-page thing, and there's a lot of points in here. And I'll give Newsweek a little credit on here for being a leftist. They didn't. I'm not saying they were in favor of ARs, but they didn't really go, boot
Their
stomping
video
on us on it.
sucked, but their video sucked.
Yeah, you did tell me that. So yeah, let's save that one for Monday when we're on In the Crosshairs of Jay
I'll
Dillon.
give you a little precursor. So, guys, tune in on Monday morning at 11:40 a.m. Mountain Time, 12:40 p.m. Central, because we'll be In the Crosshairs on KFYR TV, and that's TV. That's the streaming plus. So,
Yep,
go to
KFYRplus.com.
KFYR TV, and then put the tab on there for the streaming, the KFYR plus, and then view live, because I think we're gonna touch on this. House, if you want to look it up, House Republican Barry Moore, he is going to introduce a bill into Congress that will make the AR-15. There you go,
There it
Jamie's
is.
showing you KFYR plus.
KFYR
Make it the national
Plus.
gun of the United States.
Yeah, we actually
AR-15.
talked about that before, Clay.
We have, yes.
Yep.
So anyway, we'll save
Which we're
that.
in
We'll bring
favor
that
of.
up on Monday.
And so just to kind of play off that a little bit, Clay, and we'll go into our 2A bullet points. Clay and I were talking these states having state guns. So here's what Clay and I were thinking next session. Clay and I were talking like, Clay thinks Teddy's a commie, but he said he's going along with this. He was a big gun man. State gun, lever action, no specific caliber, but because Teddy Roosevelt was a big lever action, the old huge capacity magazine clip assault lever actions, right, Clay? Because
That's
they
right.
all loved them, man. Loaded on Sunday and shoot all day, they said in the Civil War towards the end. But we're talking about maybe getting with our legislators and senators and maybe trying to get the lever action passed as a North Dakota state gun. I don't know if anybody's got any other input on that. Clay and I are open to it. We're not locked in on that.
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not a Teddy Roosevelt guy. I think he was an abuser of the Constitution, especially the Antiquities Act. And I don't.
He was. He shouldn't have did that.
I don't hold the what do you want to say? I don't hold the accolades for that man that a lot of people do. But he did put North Dakota on the map. He did spend some time here. But he was a huge hunter, and he loved his Winchester lever action. So
outdoorsman, sportsman.
He was. Yeah.
All right, Clay. You want to hit with your 2A bullet points first? Or you want me to hit it?
Oh, I'll go with one here. I guess one I'm going to bring up here is the restraining order one.
Okay, do it. Yeah, I like it.
Being it piggybacks off these red flag laws. Mm-hmm. Basically, the article, and I found this in AmmoLand, and I've always had this belief anyway, that restraining orders do not prove that people are dangerous. And it basically talks about how 3 decades ago, Congress enacted a law that seemed pretty common sense, right? Prohibits gun possession by people who are subject to a restraining order aimed at preventing domestic violence. So let's start with just that first sentence.
Yep.
So when you get a temporary restraining order or a permanent restraining order put upon you, either one, a temporary one is actually issued in a lot of states in the matter of a divorce. And I had a buddy go through this already out in Wyoming. He actually had a temporary restraining order placed on him, as did his wife, because they were filing for divorce. That's their policy out there. And immediately, within 24 hours, the sheriff's department showed up at the place where he was living and wanted his guns. Luckily, where he was living, he was only renting a room. So they could not enter the premise because they did not have a warrant or permission to enter the entire premise, just his room, which they couldn't get to. Mm-hmm. So he basically, the owner of the house told him to go pound sand, as he should have, and then that alleviated that problem. But the problem is that they were getting a divorce. He wasn't a threat to her. She wasn't a threat to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as you get a divorce, the man goes freaking nuts, Clay.
Oh, must have been, right? And anyway, so this is the problem. When they say restraining orders do not prove that people are dangerous, not all restraining orders say that. I mean, you can get a restraining order for the dumbest things, in all honesty. And that pendulum has swung the other way, so that it's very easy, it seems like anymore, without a lot of proof. So again, it doesn't afford you due process. They take your firearms and hold them, and it's very difficult to get them back. I actually dealt with that as a rep a couple times in North Dakota, where people had them confiscated, taken because of temporary restraining orders, temporary restraining order was lifted. It was proven that there was no issue. Some of them were divorce cases, things like that. And then the guys both these gentlemen had to fight hard, spent a lot of money on attorneys to just get their firearms returned to them because there's nothing there. And that has to do with civil forfeiture too. I mean, Rick Becker tried really hard to pass some great reforms in the state legislature in North Dakota. And unfortunately, we have too many Democrats that pose as Republicans and we call them rhinos. And they basically tanked every single one of them.
You said taint.
Tanked.
Yeah, you're right, though. You're right, Clay.
And that's why that's my 2A bullet point. Be careful with the temporary restraining orders or the restraining orders because they are issued pretty easily anymore, and the implications
we got to
are
err on the
horrible.
side of caution. If I don't, and they go and do something, then I'm going to be, then you're right, and they take your stuff.
They do. They take it. So that's mine. That's my 2A bullet point.
Yeah. So so mine's going to play off of some mass shootings here, right? We're hearing about Tennessee and we're hearing about Kentucky but there was, and Clay actually brought some up about some mass shootings over last weekend. Well, Clay, you're forgetting a mass shooting with massive amounts of casualties. So I'm going to tell you what the casualty rate was here, right? 20 people were shot, 3 of them fatally. Can you guess where that was over the weekend, Clay, that nobody's heard about?
I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah, nobody does. Where all the big Democrats live. Chicago, the city of Chicago.
I should have just guessed that.
Yep, Lori Leftfoot, still the mayor, still anti-gun, still hates Trump, wants no help from Trump to help out with the crime rate in that city. One of the biggest crime-infested rat holes in the United States of America, fully under Democrat power.
Wow.
20 were shot, 3 fatally. Okay, and nobody cares. Where's the national news media? If that happened in whatever, let's Sioux City, Iowa, they'd be down there. 20 people shot in Sioux City, 3 dead. Yeah. Oh my God, he used an AR-15. And guess what? Most of these were done with a pistol.
A pistol? Imagine that.
Yep. Yeah, because like Clay said before too, and they'd been trying to ban pistols long before they even tried to ban ARs.
Oh,
Saturday night special.
Saturday night special.
So Clay, since January 1st, 2023, and till now through April 9th, how many people do you think have been killed in Chicago? The big Democrat, just a fantasy land, everything the Democrats ever wanted in Chicago. Gun control, wokeism.
Hundreds.
Yeah, 134 people have been killed since January 1st in Chicago.
Wow. How about that?
Where Chicago, where they make gun possession damn near impossible. And guess what? Here in North Dakota, where what would I say we were at that time, Clay, 5th or 6th or whatever in gun ownership?
Something like that. Yeah, we should be number 1. But
I don't think in 10 years, I'm sure of it. In 10 years, we haven't had 134 people killed here.
No, that's over 1 a day in
right
Chicago.
And guess what? The newly elected mayor, Brandon Johnson, he's actually more leftist than Mayor Leftfoot.
Actually worse. He just doesn't look like Beetlejuice.
He supports defund the police, and he called that an actual, real political goal. So Chicago, congratulations. You just made your life even freaking worse.
So, it's going to get worse from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, all these big Democrat-run cities are like that. And these fools have a bunch of power in the Electoral College because they're voting. There's so many of them that live there. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
All right, Clayton, we're going to hit, you know what we're going to do here.
We are, but Doug brings up, he says the state caliber should be the 50.
Hey, and before I do this, I got to say, when I was going to the farm Sunday, I stopped at Cenex in New Salem because I like to go there because they don't, I got to come up on my screen. I like to stop in New Salem and fill gas because they still take cash. They don't force you to pay with a damn credit card. Stopped in Cenex there. Talked to a nice young gal there. Conversation started talking about guns, asked me what I was doing, going shooting. Started talking about it. She wrote down guns in the 701. I apologize. I don't remember your name, but if you're watching, hey, I appreciate it. And she said she was going to check us out. So
cool.
That was awesome. Yeah. So, all right, Clayton.
So I think that we have arrived at the happy ending of the week, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
All right, why don't we hit it? Let's do it. All right.
All right. All right. So this happy ending, we're heading back to Florida. Remember last week I took us all the way back to, was it 1970, the happy ending
Yep.
with the 410 single shot? All right. So we got an armed Florida man entered a Galaxy Tire and Auto Repair on Woodruff Avenue. Hey, we got a tire. We got an auto repair sponsor.
That's right. That's right.
In Jacksonville around 11:45 a.m. on Friday. The man robbed the owner of the auto repair shop at gunpoint. The thief ran out of the shop with the stolen money. He then pointed his gun at a customer sitting in a car at the shop. I'm sorry I'm laughing because this is funny. And ordered the person to exit the vehicle. The thief carjacked the vehicle. However, the car was at the auto repair shop because it wasn't working.
That's awesome, isn't it?
The armed man ditched the operational car and fled the crime scene on foot. While the thief was running away, the owner retrieved his firearm and pursued the robber. Police say the robber pointed his gun at the owner, who then responded by shooting the thief. The robber was shot once in his lower body. The thief ran to a nearby restaurant where the fool collapsed in the parking lot. He was then taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police found stolen property from the auto repair shop on the suspect. The suspect, who was not identified, was arrested and charged with armed robbery and several other charges.
What do you think, Doug? Oh, he responded. He goes, that's exactly what I would do.
My guess is Dougie's sending more than one round at him, though.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure. Yeah, I don't think if Doug does it, I'm pretty sure that the guy will assume room temperature.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I seen Doug shooting his carry pistol. The man's probably more deadly than most people are with a full-size handgun with his carry gun. So
that is a happy ending, though.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that, though. He jumped in there. The car wasn't working.
The car wouldn't go. I'm at an auto repair place. I jump in a car. It might have an issue. You gotta love it, though, don't you?
Yeah.
That was a great happy ending. So,
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it an evening here. Like I said, I needed to get out of here a little earlier than we usually do. We had some other things to actually hit on, but I encourage everybody to listen Friday. We'll be on Mitchell in the morning. That's at 7:40 Mountain, 8:40 Central Time. Sometimes we're out there at least a full 20. Sometimes even
I'll tell you what. Let me give you a little rundown on what we're going to hit on that, Clay. So. Anybody who's familiar with sports, especially NBA, San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich, huge leftist. This guy is a massive, unhinged
dumbass.
I mean, the only thing he's smart at is coaching basketball, apparently. Suggesting, he said it, the Second Amendment's a myth and it's used to deny restrictions on firearms. You're right about one thing, Coach. It is made for denying restrictions on it. That's not a myth. That's reality that's written down. So, and then from there, we're going to go into something they've made this, these pig hunters is called the Fury 7, and it's a 729 grain. It's the biggest hollow point bullet made. You can shoot it out of a shotgun. So take note, Dougie, and Clay. We got some videos. We got to get it specially made by this guy, but from Fury Custom Bullets in Michigan.
We've got to have that. We have to have that.
And Clayton, we were going to hit on this before, but you and I said we're going to wait. It's the NRA convention's coming up.
Yes.
In what's that, Indiana, I believe. Yep, Indiana. Yep. We're going to tell you who's going to be speaking there, and you know what they got going on at the NRA convention, which starts Friday. So when we're talking on Todd's show Friday morning there at 7:40 Mountain, 8:40 Central, they're going to be gearing up. I wish we were there, but we're not. It should be awesome. We're going to tell you who's speaking there, and looks like a great lineup, actually. I mean, a bunch of awesome Americans.
Maybe one of these years, you and I, we're just going to have to go there as Guns in the 701 and check it out. I still have a few connections out in that world. So.
Wait, someday when we're big and famous here in the upper tri-state region, we're going to.
Yeah. Or go to SHOT Show.
Yeah.
But no, and one other thing that Ohio did over there, or not Ohio, Indiana did over there. I believe they made a resolution, Senate Resolution 33, which honors the NRA. But we'll go over that at a probably we might cover a little of that on Todd's show too. So
yeah, Yep, and then we'll be Monday, give them a little rundown of what we got going on Jay's show. Not, we don't know what we're doing yet, but give them the time.
Yeah.
Whoops, burped into there. I thought
Uh-oh.
I hit the mute on.
He didn't hit the cough button.
Ooh, pickle beer give me some. Yeah. So yeah, every Monday, Clay, 11:48 or 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 12:30 p.m. Central. Clayton and I aren't in the crosshairs. Jay Dillon's a host of that, and like Clay was saying earlier, it's on KFYR Plus. You can go on KFYRplus.com. That's KFYR TV's new streaming service. And man, Clay, we've been on there since February now, right?
Yeah, something like that. We've done 9-10 episodes already, and it's going. Jay's. It's starting to really come together. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah,
I thought last Monday was probably one of our better segments.
Yep, and
I really think we need to touch on this AR-15 being the symbol. The national gun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. We're gonna hit on that, and I mean, everything's going. We've been on. Man, when I was Todd, I think. I was looking at some of our old shorts.
It goes back a long.
I want to say that was almost in September.
Something like that.
Man, we've been on KFYR in the mornings for a long time. So
it was shortly after we launched this.
Yeah, everything's was it? Okay, so then it was in October. My bad, I'm a month behind.
So Mandan Sporting Goods, Brandon says SHOT Show. We're all in. We are in.
Okay. Hey, he also said he wasn't kidding about the full auto live, and I said we're not either.
That.
We're not.
We're
in, Brandon.
I got to get done with calving. I'll have a little time in between calving and haying season. So I'm looking at May, guys, and maybe we need to make that happen. We'll do a live right there from Mandan Sporting Goods. We'll shoot a few full autos. And Jamie and I have been talking about some of the things we might do. We'll discuss it a little more, and we'll get together with Brandon, and then we will we'll announce what we're going to do on that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And we still got to talk with Dougie and Lynette about that 2A day. So
absolutely. So we got some things planned.
Put Doug's comment up there. I see.
Never steal a car with a hood open from an auto repair shop. That's the words of wisdom tonight from Guns in the 701 and Lauer Auto Repair.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, guys, like I said, we're here live every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 Central. We're on Mitchell in the morning, KFYR 550 a.m. radio. That's going to start at 7:40 Mountain Time, 8:40 Central, and then in the crosshairs with host Jay Dillon. And that takes place with Jamie and me every single Monday morning at 11:30 Central or 12:30 Mountain. And we are on pretty much for that full half hour.
Yeah, and if you miss it, you can always catch us. Clay uploads it. He's going to do it tonight. We're on iHeartRadio. The podcasts are available for everything from this to Todd Show, Mitchell in the morning, to in the crosshairs. You can catch that. And hey, guys, appreciate it if you like, share, and let everybody know about it. If you go and support our sponsors, let them know you heard about it here on Guns in the 701 or one of our videos or one of our podcasts or anything like that. That only helps us out. It's going to help you out in the long run. It's going to help Clay and I do better things on the show.
Absolutely. So with that, guys, we're going to call this an evening. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we held pretty steady. I imagine the nice weather kept a lot of people away, but we still had good numbers showing at our ticker. So again, we appreciate everybody tuning in and supporting the show. And of course, we support our sponsors, and we want you to support them. Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. The Blind Guy on North Dakota. Guys, don't be afraid to get in touch with them. 701-222-3932. And Mandan Sporting Goods. But I tell you what, biggest selection of probably powder and ammo anywhere. 701-751-1026 right down there on 210 East Main Street. Again, support those sponsors that are supporting your rights. And with that, I don't know if you got anything else to add, Jamie?
Yes, sir. Keep your powder dry.
Keep your powder dry. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good one.